All right, before we get this episode started, after you watch this, if you enjoy it, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and my channel. A big thank you to you for that. Now, here's this week's episode. Muskies are romanticized in more myths and tall tales than any other freshwater game fish. Typical of these, and probably the most well-known, is the legend that muskies are the fish of 10,000 casts. Tales of giant muskies ripping smaller game fish off anglers' lines, or engulfing full-grown loons or ducks from the surface of the water, or attacking boat motor propellers, or getting hooked and pulling the boat all over the lake. There are dozens or perhaps hundreds more reasons to enhance the mystique that surrounds the Mighty Musky. North America's #1 freshwater predator. No other freshwater game fish rivals the muskie in its savageness or in its size potential. Just check these out. In a rare colorized photo, here is Cal Johnson's 60¼ inch by 67½ pound world record muskie caught in 1949. And here is another rare colorized photo of Louis Spray's world record 63½ inch by 69 pound 11-ounce muskie, also caught in 1949, just 3 months after Cal Johnson's. Now this muskie catch is still recognized by the National Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame as a current world record some 75 years later. However, this catch is still shrouded in a mystery. It's rumored to have been a non-legal catch. So the mystique of the Mighty Musky for this fish continues to this day. Now, if you thought those size muskies don't exist anymore, check this one out. How about Ken O'Brien's 56½ inch by 65 pound muskie caught in 1988? Lost muskies carry impressive credentials. Stories of 50-inch to upper 60-inch fish are abundant, and consistent catches of trophy-sized muskie from 40 inches to 56 inches are quite common. Now, muskies even larger than those have been sighted through the years by muskie anglers and other fishermen. And if the claimed dimensions are even close to being correct, some of those muskies are over 6 feet long and weigh easily over 75 pounds. Now check out this 1902 clipped copy from the Minocqua Times, reporting that the Wisconsin State Fish Hatchery had captured 2 muskies, one on Lake Tomahawk that weighed in at 80 pounds, and the other on Minocqua Lake, which weighed in at a monstrous 102 pounds back in 1902. Now, some of these are only stories, but they add to the muskie's mystique. Now, muskie fishing can get to be boring, tiring, and time-consuming at times. And muskie hunters know they're hard to catch. You'll come up empty on your hunt more times than you'll have success.
I lost them.
But that doesn't stop us. That short period of pandemonium when you're battling toe-to-toe with the Mighty Musky.
Fish on. Fish on. Nice size. Nice size. Who was he thinking on?
outweighs the hours of boredom that can sometimes precede the catch. Now, let's join muskie hunter Lee Rapant as he heads out in pursuit of summer muskie.
All right, hi everybody. It is Sunday, the 24th of July. It's about 10 to 5. We're heading out on the lake. A couple of boats out here yet, but for the most part, people are starting to pack up, head home. Workday, being retired. I've got the leg up on everybody.
Now, being July, water temperature range can vary depending on size and depth of the lake, and some other lake factors such as clear or stained water or algae blooms, etc., etc. But the average July water temperature range is between 64 degrees to 78 degrees. So with the warmer water, the muskies will be hitting all types of lures.
So anyways, wind's picking up a little bit here as I get in the middle of the lake. We're gonna fish for about 2 hours till 7 o'clock. And we're just gonna do our basic milk run on this body of water. So we'll see if we can raise a muskie. So here's a look at our weather conditions right now. Check it out.
Now the temperature is currently at 80 degrees, and we're expecting a low of 55 degrees overnight. The wind is currently out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour, and humidity is currently at 39%. Now the barometer, it's holding steady at 29.87. Not a good sign for having active muskies. I prefer an active barometer. I don't care if it's either rising or falling, but it's moving, as opposed to just a steady one. So we'll see how this evening's muskie hunt plays out.
Here's the baits that we're using. A couple of search baits, top water, and then a little like twitch bait that I've got set up. So let's take a look. We'll walk you through what we're using right now. Check this out.
Now here's a glance at tonight's baits. So let's take a closer look and find out just what they are and why I picked them for tonight. Now bucktails are always a good search lure for muskies. And by search lure, I mean looking for active muskies, either strikes or follows. And casting bucktails allows me to cover water more efficiently and search more areas quickly, as these baits are cast and retrieved in a rapid fashion. So I have picked 2 of them out. The first one, a silver willow leaf blade with a black and red bucktail, and a silver cupped end blade for more flash. I'll throw this one with the daylight as it'll give off more flash. The second bucktail also has a silver willow leaf blade, but the bucktail is a black, white, and brown color with a white plastic double tail to give it more movement. Now I'll switch to this one with more trailing movement when there's less light as the sun sets. Now I have also selected what I call follow-up lures. They'll be ready if I encounter an active muskie that follows but does not hit the bait, or I get a catch out of it. Now the first one is a solid body minnow style bait with a walleye color pattern. And the second one is a modified jointed plastic perch colored minnow bait. Now that modification came as I removed the diving lip at the front of the bait. This bait now is an erratic movement. As it sinks slowly, I can pop the rod tip and make it look like a dying fish, which is an easy meal for a muskie. And finally, at muskie magic time, when the sun hits the tree line and the shadows grow long in the water, as darkness starts its descent to engulf the lake. My favorite topwater lure, the top raider, in the bullfrog / perch color. This lure, when retrieved, creates a loud disturbance on the surface of the water, calling in muskies from a distance. Now this topwater lure has produced many twilight muskie follows and catches over the years for me. And it has also accounted for my biggest walleye, a 28-inch specimen, and a 36-inch pike, along with those multiple 40-inch plus muskies. By far, this is my go-to topwater bait. Well, that's my arsenal for tonight. Let's get this muskie hunt started.
Now, if you can see that or not, but fish are stacked up on the hump a little bit, right on the edge. And coming into our first spot, what we call Big Fish Bay. We've put Mighty Musky in the boat in here, 40-inch plus, and a lot of musky contacts in this area. So it's probably our #1 spot on the lake. So stick with us, we'll have baits in the water shortly. All right, for our first search bait, we're going with a black bucktail with the silver willow leaf blade. And we've got a little trailing Colorado cup blade for a little more flash. Again, going with the silver flash here on a bright sunny day. Okay, we're working the break line here, 18 feet. You can see the shoreline's pretty close. It's got a pretty steep drop. And with the sun being up high, I do kind of pitch it on top of the shelf to simulate bait fish coming off the shelf in shallow water over the break. But I'm mainly concentrating and expecting fish on that break line, 18 to 20 feet. That's what we're concentrating on now. As the sun drops in the sky and those shadows change in the water, the muskies will come up a little bit shallower, sensing that it's a little darker because of the sun angle dropping, and they'll come up and start actively feeding. Now I'm pitching my search lures, bucktails, because right now I'm just looking to see if we've happened to got an active fish along that break line looking for a quick early meal. As you can see, I do cast back and bring the bucktail along the break line instead of over the top of the break line. Keeps it in the strike zone a little longer. And again, we're working wind-swept shorelines. And the reason we're working the wind-swept shorelines, obviously, the bait fish ball up in here. You get the small bait fish, you get the smaller fish chasing those, and so on, and they just keep piling up till you get the big predators coming in, going after the bigger fish. So, again, wind-swept shorelines here, 80-degree weather, clear, bright blue skies, and hey, don't forget every once in a while, pitch out into deep water. You never know what's suspending out there. Those throwback casts into wind can be tricky. You want to make sure you thumb your reel or you could get an easy backlash and have lots of problems. If you know you're going to be pitching into the wind at times, throw a little heavier bait. It helps. I just checked water temp. I knew I forgot to report on that. We've got 80-81 degree air temp. Water temp is 74-75 degrees. Optimum temperatures for muskies to chase. We just got to get on them. Besides, coming up here, we've got this point that comes out. We like to fish this area. I just saw a juvenile eagle come past. He landed in the tree. Yep. We'll see if we get some footage of that eagle. But anyways, we've got that point coming out. There's a rock pile under there. I've raised muskie on there, lost muskie, caught a 21-inch walleye. We catch a lot of smallmouth. You want to make sure you hit that musky fish. Let's take a 3-4 minute break here, see if we can get that eagle up in a tree. He comes. I don't know if he flew out of the tree Very cool. I like to tell everybody, you're out here musky fishing, but enjoy the outdoors. Stop for a couple minutes. Enjoy what God's nature has put out for you to observe. Like that eagle just now. Take a break from the drudgery sometimes of the 10,000 casts. Pay attention to what's around you and appreciate it. All right, let's get lures in the water again. Almost done here in Big Fish Bay for pass number 1, looking for active fish. We'll hit our second hot spot, throw bucktails, look for active fish. Then we're going to come back on key areas up on the north side and here, so stick with us. So, I don't know if you noticed, you saw the boat turn around. I'm on that point. When I hit points like that coming out of areas, I like to fan cast that point. You kind of saw it as I went all the way around the clock, right off the point, fan casting, seeing if there's any muskies holding off the point in deeper water. So anyways, that's it for first pass here in Big Fish Bay. Now when we come back here on our second pass, we will concentrate on specific areas and I'll throw some slower presentations. We'll be throwing that top water with its distinctive plop, 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 the top raider. And I've got a little grandma style lure, like a little minnow lure, and we'll work that slow. If we see anything, we can always dead stick it. It's a great method for bass, panfish, dead sticking, and it can be great for muskie and pike also. So anyways, that's it. We're heading up to the north side of the lake. Stick with us. We're going to try to show you a muskie tonight, and if not, well, you're going to learn a couple of the tactics that I use. See you up on the north side. Stick with us. Okay, we're setting up here on spot number 2. And again, we're just looking for some active muskies at this time. Sun's still pretty high in the sky. So we're going back to the silver and black bucktail with the little Colorado trailer for a little extra flash. Now out of here, oh, let's see. In the past, Mike's had a 43-incher. I had my first 40 out of this area. My musky tooth story comes off this point. We'll maybe show you a little of that later. But let's try to get a muskie to at least follow here. Now, even though I'm going to different bays, different areas, I'm on the north side of the lake, I'm still fishing that windswept shorelines and bays. I think I'm snagged. Doesn't feel like a fish. We snagged something.
And it was a snag, no muskie, but my heart was pumping there for sure. I got the lure unstuck, resharpened the hooks, and got back to muskie hunting again. Now I was a little more on edge after that snag, and I was tense on every single retrieve for quite a while. And just as I started to get back into my cast and retrieve rhythm, I started to conjure up musky follows from weeds.
For a second, I thought musky. I saw this thing coming up behind it. All right, we're going to make our second pass through this northern bay here. All right, we're going to switch up a little bit. We're going to throw this smaller grandma walleye pattern lure now. All right, we're doing our second pass through this bay on the north end of the lake. And even though the sun isn't what I would call magic time cresting the trees, the shadows are longer than they were. So we're gonna throw top water here. Is a high percentage area for me right down through here. So I'm gonna circle us out and we'll come back in. Let's see if we can get a picture of that kingfisher. Like I said, you're musky fishing. You sort of got to stop and smell the roses. I just took a couple of shots at this kingfisher. I thought maybe he'd go after my bait. We hit this northern bay pretty hard. We made 2 passes through here, and then we came back in this corner area here where I've been pretty successful. Myself, Mike, and Wes. Besides muskies, some big bass hitting muskie baits in this area, but unfortunately nothing tonight. Hey, that's muskie hunting. The fish of 10,000 casts. It doesn't have to be that way, but sometimes it is, even if you try to put the percentages in your favor. So anyways, we're heading back to our #1 hotspot, Southwestern Bay here, and let's see what we can do about putting a muskie on the boat, get a follow, something here in about the last hour. So we're back in Big Fish Bay, high percentage area for me. Contacted and caught a lot of muskies in this area. We're going to go with top water now and throw that exclusively in these high percentage spots where I've contacted the most muskies. And let's see if we can't make it happen.
And if it wasn't bad enough that I had not contacted a single muskie so far tonight, I was going to experience a time-consuming event. This flaw of imperfection, this challenge, eventually is experienced by all muskie hunters. And it usually lurks in the shadows, waiting for the most inopportune time. As I was now approaching a dwindling resource tonight, that being my time on the water, as I watched the clock tick away minutes of tonight's muskie hunt, it reared its ugly head. The dreaded backlash. After spending precious minutes looking for the trigger loop, then more time untangling it, I was finally back in the game pitching baits. Now remember at the beginning of this video I said as a muskie hunter, you'll come back more times being shut out than having a successful muskie hunt. Well, this was one of those muskie shutout times. Now I continued my muskie hunt in Big Fish Bay until 7:40 p.m. 2 hours and 45 minutes on the water, and no follows, no hits, no hookups. Yeah, tonight felt like those muskies are the fish of 10,000 casts. But it's not always that way. Check out this successful summer muskie hunt.
Okay, it's Thursday morning. It's 6:20. We're going to start things off a little different this morning. We'll throw that Booker shallow raider. We're going to go in there and try that first couple casts out on that point area, and then we'll go back to the starting point in Big Fish Bay and we'll fish it like we normally do for muskie.
Now it didn't take long to work Big Fish Bay. I had just moved into the shade shoreline area, and I was pitching my bucktail when on the second cast,
Hey, we got one. We got one. We got ourselves another muskie. This one's a little more active. Back off the drag a little. Play himself out. He's really shaking his head too. I think I got him hooked pretty good in the corner. Oh, he wants to go under the boat. Oh, 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 oh. Another illegal fish. A blue and white spinner again. Right here in the corner by the downed wood. By the trolling motor. And I'm up on top now. Don't want to net them on this side though. We still got a little play in them. Get him netted here with the left hand. We're in the net. A doubler. We got a doubler this week. All right. Free spool. Hold on, buddy. To this side of the boat. Whoa. Okay. Whew. Let's get out the tools. This guy's really beat up. He's scarred up pretty good around the tail area in there. Don't need to get a handful of hook. There. Okay, lure's off. Okay, that's all off. Let's get a couple of stills and we'll hold them up.
about 13 pounds. It's weighing in at about 14 and a half, and the net weighs a pound and a half, so about 13 pounder. Get a measurement on them when I release them. There we go. How's that? Oh, a doubler this week. 48 incher, now this one, 13 pounder. We're gonna get her in the water and get her measured. I'd say she's illegal. I'm guessing about 38 inches. See how close I am. Oh, you dog, you. I got a stick next to her and she slipped away out of my hand. I got her measured at about 38 real quick. She's swimming away. She should be okay. There she goes. Swimming pretty good. You can see her tail, more power in her tail. She slipped away from me while I was trying to measure her. I got a quick read of about 38 inches.
Now, as the muskie swam away looking strong, I started to become concerned as it swam towards really shallow water along the shoreline. I had never seen this type of behavior before.
Yeah, there she is. She's way in the shallows. I'm going to just hang around just in case here. And that's her. She moved way into the shallows here. So we're going to stay in here. This is too shallow for her. Let her recover. Make sure she's okay. And move into the deeper water.
My concern was that besides the stress level of being caught, those gash-type injuries near the tail that were already there when I caught her, those injuries may be compounding the stress of being caught, and that's accounting for this odd behavior. She had, especially the one nearest the tail, was possibly from a larger predator, as it looked like a slice mark from a tooth. The others could have been a skin or scale viral infection. I just don't know for sure.
Up on top, easy for a predator. And her tail, she looks like she's got enough power to go. We'll just stick around in the area and wait. That's all we can do. Right now we're kind of babysitting that fish. She's doing all right, but she's in the shallows. She's just kind of regaining her composure, I would guess.
After holding in the shallow shoreline for what seemed like forever, she finally started to head out towards deeper water. Now, with the visible damage near the tail, I kind of wished I hadn't caught her and added more stress to her situation. I was happy to see her return and swim slowly back down into the depths of Big Fish Bay. I hope she made it and survived, because those tail injuries she had, especially the one nearest the tail, was possibly from a larger predator, as it looked like a slice mark from a tooth. The others could have been a skin or scale viral infection. I just don't know for sure. Well, in this video you saw how frustrating muskie hunting can be at times. And you saw the flip side about how exhilarating a confrontation with the #1 freshwater predator in North America, the Mighty Musky, can be. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned a little bit about the muskie and about muskie hunting. Now, be sure to join us on the next RO360 video, as we'll walk you through the process of how to search out new musky waters, then break down a first-time approach on those new waters in order to experience a successful muskie hunt. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next RO360 video.
Feel free to comment below, or if you don't want to comment in the public eye, we can also be reached at rapantoutdoors360@gmail.com. Now, if you know somebody you think might enjoy this video series, please feel free to go ahead and share this video or this link with your friend. And as always, whether you fish or hunt, remember, practice CCR. Catch, conserve, replenish. Make sure that that resource is available for future generations. See you next time, guys.